Hello, my friend. If you are listening to this story on a quiet evening, maybe after a long day, or maybe simply because you wanted to sit still for a little while, then imagine we are sitting together in a small warm room. No rush, nothing to prove, nothing that needs to be fixed right now. Just sitting down and talking for a little while. Today, I want to tell you about something very familiar, something many of us understand somewhere deep inside, but often forget to notice. Maybe you and I, like so many others, are busy working, trying to take care of our lives. We still remember our parents. We still call. We still send money. We still think we are doing the things we are supposed to do. But sometimes, there is one small thing we do not realize. Maybe we are taking care of our parents' lives very well, but not truly being present in their lives. Not because we do not love them, but because life keeps carrying us along. Today, I want to tell you about a man named Daniel. And in some ways, I can see myself in Daniel's story too. Daniel was a good son. At least for many years he believed he was. He worked hard. He sent money to his parents regularly. He fixed the roof on their house. He bought them a new refrigerator. He paid the hospital bills when his father got sick. He had never abandoned them, never turned his back on them, never made them feel like a burden. But there was one thing Daniel did not understand. Sometimes you can take care of someone's life and still be absent from their heart. Daniel was 44 years old. He lived with his wife and 2 children in a large city, a little more than 3 hours from the town where he grew up. Daniel's work was demanding. He was a project manager for a construction company. Most of his days began before the sun was fully up. Emails, phone calls, job sites, invoices, contracts. Meetings that ran longer than expected. Problems that appeared near the end of the day, just when he thought he was almost done. Daniel was not a cold man. He loved his family. He loved his wife and children. He loved his parents. He simply felt most of the time as if he were trying to hold too many things at once. Daniel's parents still lived in the little house in his hometown. The house had a low front porch, an old oak tree in the yard, a long wooden bench where his father liked to sit in the afternoon. His mother kept a few flower pots beside the front steps. The house was not large, but it was where Daniel had grown up, where he had once run barefoot across the kitchen floor, where his mother had stood at the stove making soup on rainy days, where his father had taught him how to change a tire in the garage, where there were still old pencil marks on the doorframe, measuring Daniel and his sister from the time they were small. Daniel did not go home often, not because he did not want to, but because there was always something, a project running behind schedule, his son's soccer game, his daughter's school performance, a weekend when he simply needed to rest, a car that needed repairs, a promise to his wife that the family would go somewhere together after weeks of being busy. Daniel usually called his mother on Sunday evenings. The calls were not long. "How are you, Mom? How's Dad? Do you still have enough medicine? Did you get the money I sent?" His mother always answered in a gentle voice, "I'm fine. Your father is fine too. We still have medicine." "Yes, I got it. Don't send too much." Daniel would usually say, "It's okay, Mom. I can handle it." Then there would be a small silence on the other end. Not an uncomfortable silence, just the kind of silence that belongs to someone who wants to say a little more, but is not sure whether she should keep her son on the phone any longer. His mother would ask, "Are you very busy this week?" Daniel, looking at his laptop screen, would answer, "Yeah, a little busy. We have a new project at work." "Okay, then you go work. Don't stay up too late." "I won't. You should get some sleep too." "I will. Come home for dinner when you have time." "I will. I'll figure it out." Daniel said that sentence many times. "I'll figure it out." And he truly meant it. It was just that life always seemed to have something else that needed to be figured out first. Daniel was the kind of son his parents' neighbors praised. "Your son is doing so well. I heard he sends money home every month. The house looks much better since he fixed it. You're lucky to have a son like that." Whenever his mother heard that, she would smile. "Yes," she would say, "he is very busy, but he loves us." And she said it with real pride. Daniel did love his parents. When the roof started leaking, he called a contractor and paid for it. When the old washing machine broke, he ordered a new one. When his father needed a heart checkup, Daniel sent money before his mother even had a chance to ask. He always did what needed to be done. And because of that, Daniel believed he was taking good care of his parents. One evening, his wife Sarah said gently, "Maybe we should visit your parents this weekend. It's been a while." Daniel was looking at the calendar on his phone. "I have a meeting Saturday. Next weekend Ethan has a game. Maybe the end of the month." Sarah looked at him. "You said the end of the month 2 months ago." Daniel let out a tired breath. "I know. But you see how everything is right now. It's just non-stop." Sarah did not blame him. She knew Daniel was tired. She knew he was not trying to neglect anyone. She only said, "I don't think your parents need us to do anything big. Maybe just have dinner with them." Daniel nodded. "Yeah, I know." But in his mind he thought, "I still call. I still send money. I still take care of them. It's not like I'm ignoring my parents." And he was right. He was not ignoring them. But some distances are not created by one great act of neglect. They are created by many small laters. One afternoon in October, Daniel received a call from his mother while he was at a job site. There was heavy machinery in the background. He looked at the screen. "Mom." He hesitated for a second, then answered, "Mom, I'm at the site right now. Is everything okay?" His mother's voice came through softly. "Nothing is wrong. I just wanted to ask if you might come home this weekend." Daniel saw a supervisor waving to him from across the site. "This weekend? I don't think so." "Why? Is something going on?" "No, no, your father is fine. He just mentioned you." "Dad mentioned me?" "Yes. Yesterday he found the old fishing rod in the garage. He said it had been a long time since the two of you went fishing." Daniel was quiet for a second. An image of his father came into his mind. A quiet man, rough hands from years of work, an old baseball cap, the blue fishing rod he had bought Daniel when Daniel was 12. Daniel said, "Yeah, I've just been so busy, Mom. Tell Dad to keep it. When I get a chance to come home, we'll go." His mother answered very gently, "Okay, I know you're busy." Behind Daniel, the supervisor called his name. Daniel said quickly, "Mom, I have to get back to work. I'll call you later, okay?" "Okay, go work." Daniel hung up, and like so many other calls, he really did think he would call back. But that evening, a problem at the job site lasted until almost 10 o'clock. The next day, his daughter had a fever. The day after that, Sarah's car needed repairs. Then the week passed. That phone call stayed somewhere in Daniel's memory. It did not disappear. It was simply covered by many other things. A month later, Daniel decided to send his parents a massage chair. He had seen an advertisement online. It was a good one. Heated back support, shoulder massage settings. He thought his father would like it. His father often had back pain, especially when the weather turned cold. Daniel ordered it right away. He did not tell them first. A week later, his mother called. "Daniel, the chair just arrived." "Good. What do you think?" "It's very nice. It must have been expensive." "Don't worry about that. Did Dad try it?" His mother laughed softly. "He sat in it for a while. He said it feels like one of those chairs at the mall." Daniel laughed. Then he likes it. Yes, he likes it. Then she was quite quiet for a moment. You don't have to keep buying us things. Daniel answered quickly. Mom, don't worry about the money. I can handle it. I know. Her voice softened. I just worry that you work too much. Daniel leaned back in his office chair. His computer screen was still open in front of him. Mom, I do it so you and Dad don't have to struggle. You both took care of me for so many years. Now it's right for me to take care of you. His mother did not say anything for a few seconds. Then she said, We don't need you to pay us back. Daniel paused. She continued very gently. We just like it when you come home. Daniel heard those words, but maybe he did not let them reach all the way into his heart yet. He smiled through the phone. I know. I'll come soon. His mother smiled too. Okay, when you have time. There it was again. When you have time. A light sentence. But sometimes for aging parents, it is longer than we think. Winter came. Daniel's work entered the most difficult part of the year. A large project was behind schedule. The client was impatient. Several employees were out sick. Daniel barely had weekends anymore. He still sent money to his parents, still called, still asked about medicine, still reminded his mother not to save money by keeping the heat too low. But the calls became shorter, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 3, sometimes from the car, while he was driving from one place to another. His mother still always said, drive carefully. Eat enough. Don't work too hard. His father usually said only a few things. Work going okay. The kids doing all right. Car still running good. Daniel's father was not a man who knew how to toast much on the phone. He was the kind of man who showed love by doing things. When Daniel was little, his father did not often say, I love you, but he fixed Daniel's bicycle, stood in the rain, waiting for him after school, woke up early to shovel snow from the walkway so Daniel would not slip, quietly put extra cash in Daniel's wallet the day he left for college. His father loved by doing. And maybe Daniel had learned that from him. Daniel loved by doing too, by sending money, by buying things, by paying bills on time, by taking care of concrete, useful, visible needs. He just had not understood yet that when children grow up, parents do not always need more things to use. Sometimes they need more moments to remember. Near Christmas, Sarah said again, what if we spent Christmas with your parents this year? Daniel was sitting at the dining table with his laptop open in front of him. He rubbed his forehead. I want to. I really do. But I don't think I can this year. This project has to be handed over before the end of the month. Sarah looked at him for a moment. Can you take one day? Daniel shook his head. Not right now. She did not say anything else. That evening, after the children had gone to bed, Sarah placed a Christmas card on the table. It was from Daniel's parents. On the front was a small house covered in snow. Inside, his mother had written, Wish you were here for dinner. Your dad made the soup this year. Sarah slid the card toward Daniel. Did you read this? Daniel picked it up. He read the line. A sad little smile crossed his face. Dad made soup? I'm sure it was too salty. Sarah smiled too. Then she asked, Do you remember that soup? Daniel nodded. Of course. It was the soup his father always made on heavy snow days. Nothing fancy. Potatoes, carrots, onions, a little beef. Cooked in the old blue pot. Daniel remembered sitting at the kitchen table when he was small, both hands wrapped around a hot bowl, snow falling white outside the window. His father sitting across from him. His mother cutting more bread. The house so warm that Daniel used to believe winter could not touch them there. He set the card down. I'll call Mom tomorrow. Sarah looked at him, not accusing him, only gently. Call a little longer this time. Daniel nodded. I will. But the next day, an emergency meeting ran late. Then a client called in the evening. Then Daniel was so tired he fell asleep in the chair. The card stayed on the dining table for 3 days. Eventually, Sarah placed it on a small shelf near the door. Daniel saw it every time he walked past. And each time he thought, I need to call. But he still did not call. Then one morning in January, Daniel received a call from his sister Laura. Her voice was tense. Where are you? Daniel was standing in the parking lot at work. I'm about to go into a meeting. What happened? Dad fell. Daniel's heart dropped. What do you mean he fell? Where? On the back steps. Mom found him. The ambulance took him to the hospital. Daniel did not remember exactly what he said next. He only remembered driving more than 3 hours to the hospital. The sky was gray. The roads were wet. His hands gripped the steering wheel. His mind was full of noise. Is Dad okay? Okay. I should have come sooner. I should have called longer. I should have gone home for Christmas. But when Daniel reached the hospital, his father was awake. He had broken his hip. He was in pain. He was tired. But his life was not in danger. Daniel stepped into the hospital room. His mother was sitting beside the bed. Her eyes were red from crying. His father lay there, paler than Daniel remembered. But when he saw Daniel, he still said in a rough voice, You drove too fast, didn't you? Daniel laughed softly, even though his throat tightened. No, I drove the speed limit. His father looked at him. Good. That was his father. Even lying in a hospital bed, he was still worried about Daniel driving safely. Daniel pulled a chair close and sat down. He held his mother's hand, then looked at his father. I'm sorry I haven't been home in a while. His father frowned. Sorry for what? Daniel said quietly, I've just been busy. His father looked at him for a moment, then turned his face toward the window. Outside, snow was falling very softly, he said. Everybody's busy. It was not an accusation. It was not cold. It was simply true. Everybody's busy. Daniel did not know how to answer. Over the next several days, Daniel stayed in town to help his mother. He took time off work, arranged for someone else to cover what he could. Sarah stayed home with the children and said, You stay with your parents. I've got everything here. For the first time in many years, Daniel stayed in the old house for more than one night. He slept in his teenage bedroom. There were still faint tape marks on the wall, where his posters used to hang. An old college sweatshirt still sat in the closet, faded and folded. In the hallway, he could hear his mother moving quietly in the morning. The smell of early coffee. The clock ticking in the living room. The old heating system humming softly into the walls. All of those sounds made Daniel feel as if he had returned to a place that had been waiting for him for a very long time. Each day, he drove his mother to the hospital to visit his father. He picked up medicine, talked to doctors, arranged the rehabilitation schedule. He did concrete things he knew how to do. But in the evenings, after they came home, he began to notice smaller things. The dining table set for only two. His father's porch chair, with a folded blanket resting over the arm. Photographs of the grandchildren on the refrigerator, many of them sent by Srar years ago. Some of the pictures were old. Daniel's children were much smaller in them than they were now. His mother had kept every one. One evening, Daniel saw his mother standing in front of the refrigerator, looking at a picture of Ethan when he was 6. In the photo, Ethan was smiling with one front tooth missing. Daniel walked into the kitchen. You like that one? His mother smiled. He smiles like you did when you were little. Daniel looked at the photo, then said, I'll print some new pictures and send them to you. His mother nodded. New pictures would be nice. Then she added, "But it would be even better if the kids came to visit." Daniel was quiet, not because he felt accused, but because for the first time he heard the sentence differently, not as a complaint, not as a request, but as a kind of longing, a very gentle kind of longing. One afternoon, after his father's surgery was done and things were more stable, Daniel drove his mother home from the hospital. It was cold. The road was still wet from melting snow. When they stepped inside the house, his mother said, "Have you eaten?" Daniel took off his coat. "I'm not that hungry." "Should I heat up some soup?" Daniel was about to say no. Then he remembered the Christmas card. "Your dad made the soup this year." He looked at his mother. "Is there any of Dad's soup left?" His mother smiled. "It's in the freezer. I saved some." She took out a container of soup, poured it into the old blue pot, then turned on the stove. Daniel sat at the kitchen table. The same window looking out over the backyard, the same yellow light overhead. Only now, he was no longer the little boy with both hands around a hot bowl of soup. He was a 44-year-old man with a few gray hairs and a phone that always had emails waiting for him. His mother set the bowl in front of him. "Careful, it's hot." Daniel picked up the spoon, took one bite. The soup was a little too salty. He laughed. "It is salty." His mother laughed too. "Your father always adds too much salt." Daniel took another bite, then another. Not because the soup was perfect, but because inside that bowl was a part of his life he had almost let pass too quickly. His mother sat across from him, both hands wrapped around a cup of tea. After a while she said, "Don't worry too much. Your father will be all right." Daniel nodded. "I know." Then he was quiet for a moment. He looked down at the bowl of soup, at the thin steam rising into the kitchen light. And for the first time in a long time, he did not rush to answer a text. He did not look at the clock. He did not think about tomorrow's meeting. He simply sat there, with his mother, in the old kitchen, beside a bowl of soup that was a little too salty. Then he said softly, "Mom?" She looked at him. "Yes." Daniel swallowed. "I'm sorry." His mother looked surprised. "For what?" "For thinking that sending money, buying things, and paying bills was enough." His mother did not say anything. Daniel continued, speaking more slowly now. "I didn't realize that. You and Dad just wanted me to come home more." His mother let out a very small breath. Not sad, not angry, just like someone who had finally heard something she had never wanted to demand. She said, "Daniel, your father and I know you love us." He looked up. She was looking at him with such kindness. "We never doubted that." Daniel felt his eyes begin to sting. His mother continued, "But when you were little, the house was full of your noise. You ran up and down the stairs. You asked questions all day. You ate everything in the refrigerator. You left your shoes in the middle of the floor." She smiled. "Then you grew up. You had a family, a job, a life of your own. And we were happy for you." She looked around the kitchen. "It's just that sometimes the house gets very quiet." Daniel could not say anything. His mother reached across the table and touched his hand. "We don't need you to pay us back." She spoke slowly. "We just need to feel once in a while that we still have a place in your life." That sentence went deep into Daniel's heart. "We don't need you to pay us back. We just need to feel that we still have a place in your life." The day Daniel's father was moved to the rehabilitation center, Daniel stayed to help get him settled. His father was sitting in a wheelchair. He looked irritated by the fact that other people had to help him. "I can do it myself," he said, when Daniel adjusted the blanket over his legs. Daniel smiled. "I know you can, but let me do it for a minute." His father looked at him, then did not argue. That afternoon, Daniel sat beside his father in the rehab room. The television was on low in the corner. Outside the window, snow had started melting on the grass. Father and son did not say much, just like they had not said much in the garage years ago. After a while, Daniel said, "Mom told me you found the old fishing rod." His father turned toward him. "Yeah, you still want to go fishing?" His father shrugged. "Probably won't be going anywhere for a while. When you're better, we'll go." His father looked at him. Daniel continued, "I don't mean that as something, I'm just saying. I'll make time." His father was quiet. Then he nodded very slightly. "Okay." One word. But to Daniel, it was a promise, not a big one, not loud, but real. A few days later, Daniel had to return to the city. Before leaving, he stopped by the rehabilitation center to say goodbye. His mother stood beside the bed. Daniel hugged her longer than usual. Then he hugged his father. His father patted him lightly on the back. "Drive careful." Daniel smiled. "I will." He reached the door, then turned back. "Next Saturday, I'm going to video call you both with the kids, 7 o'clock. His mother looked surprised. "If you're busy, you don't have to." Daniel shook his head. "No, it's already on the calendar." His father looked at him. "Do I know how to use that video thing?" Daniel laughed. "I'll teach you." His father gave a little grunt. "I'm not promising I'll like it." "That's fine," Daniel said. "You just have to show up." All three of them laughed. Softly. Ordinarily. But in that moment, Daniel felt something in his family begin to reconnect. Not through a large gift, not through money, but through time that had finally been given a name. Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Daniel went back to the city. Work was still busy. Emails still came in. Problems still appeared. Life does not become simple just because a person realizes something important. But Daniel changed a few small things. He put a video call with his parents on the calendar every Saturday night. He did not call while driving. He did not call while answering emails. He did not call as if it were one more task to finish. He sat down, put the phone in front of him, and called. He let the kids say hello to their grandparents. He let his mother ask Ethan about school. He let his father watch Daniel's daughter show him a new drawing. Some calls lasted only 15 minutes. Some lasted almost an hour. Sometimes his father just sat there and did not say much. But Daniel did not rush to hang up. He learned to let the silence have a place too. A month later, when his father was walking a little better, Daniel brought the whole family home for a weekend. Not for a holiday, not for a birthday, not because there was something that needed to be fixed, just to come home. His mother made dinner. Sarah helped set the table. The children ran into the backyard. Daniel's father sat on the porch in a heavy coat. Daniel brought out 2 cups of coffee. He sat beside him. For a few minutes, father and son watched the children playing beneath the old oak tree. Neither of them said anything. Then his father said, "That tree was smaller when you were little." Daniel looked up into the branches. "I remember trying to climb it." "You fell." "I remember." "You cried loud." Daniel laughed. "I don't remember that part." His father took a sip of coffee. "I do." Daniel looked at him. His father's face was older now. The lines were deeper. His hand trembled slightly as he held the cup, but his eyes were still the eyes of the man who had once stood beside him in the garage, under the yellow light, not needing many words to make Daniel feel safe. Daniel said, "Dad." "Yeah? I'm really glad I'm sitting here with you today." His father did not look at him right away. He looked out at the yard, at the grandchildren laughing. Then he said, "Me too." That was all. But Daniel understood. Sometimes parents do not need their children to say something big. Sometimes they only need an afternoon where their child is truly there. You know, there are many sons and daughters like Daniel. not careless, not cold, not lacking love. They simply grow up, get busy, try to carry the weight of life, and slowly begin to believe that caring means providing, sending money, buying something better, solving problems. And those things do matter. A bill paid on time can be love. A roof repaired can be love. A chair that helps an aching back can be love. But sometimes parents do not only need life to be easier, they need to feel that they still have a place in their child's life. Not somewhere on the edge. Not only in hurried phone calls. Not only when there is a hospital, a bill, or something that needs to be handled, but in ordinary moments. A meal, a phone call that is not interrupted, an afternoon on the porch, a simple question. Tell me how you've been. I think what Daniel's mother said is very beautiful. We don't need you to pay us back. We just need to feel once in a while that we still have a place in your life. Maybe many parents out there want to say something like that, but they don't, because they don't want their children to feel heavy. They don't want to be a burden. They know their children are busy, so they only say, "Come home when you have time." But sometimes behind that gentle sentence, there is something even softer. We miss you. If today's story made you think of your parents or of someone older who once loved you quietly, I hope you hold that feeling gently. Not as blame, not as regret, but as a warm reminder that some people only need to be remembered while we still can. Maybe it is a call tonight. Maybe it is a meal this weekend. Maybe it is a new picture sent to them. Maybe it is just a few minutes of sitting still, without rushing, without looking at the clock. Thank you for sitting with me today. I truly appreciate it. Until our next story, take good care of yourself. And if there is someone somewhere who always says, "Come home when you have time," maybe what they really mean is very simple. We miss you. This is Companion. Stories that remind us what truly matters.